I first learned that Serato Sample 2.0 was free to those who already own the plugin, I was pretty excited to demo it for the channel. But then this happened. Not thinking too much into it, I just decided to pivot over to Cube so I could demo this Venus Theory Cube expansion, and then it crashed StudioOne. Both of these plugins worked perfectly fine before this, but PreSonus has made a few changes since recently being acquired by Fender. The biggest change has been the switch from calling their subscription service StudioOne Sphere to now calling it StudioOne Plus. Other than the name and price change, there doesn't really seem to be much of a difference. However, these issues only begin to surface post-acquisition. After confirming with a few people, it appears that these problems are exclusive to those who are on the subscription, meaning that everybody I double-checked with who owns StudioOne outright hasn't experienced any of these issues. To me, this is unacceptable. There shouldn't be a discrepancy between those who have the subscription versus those who own a copy outright. But this isn't the first thing that's come up. After receiving such a piss-poor response from PreSonus's customer service, I decided to just cancel my subscription. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm done with StudioOne. It is still a great DAW. However, I don't have an extra $300–400 laying around to purchase this DAW outright. This situation has me reconsidering my other subscriptions as well. Here's why. The plugins after dialing in your mix are just icing on the cake. Very minimal use. After doing this for so many years, I've really got my technique dialed in and my ears sonically tuned. So I don't use as many plugins as these subscriptions have to offer. With recording in a professional studio, most of these tools that are available far surpass any plugins that I could put to the music. Now, even though I'm going to be doing all the recording from the studio, I'm going to be doing all the mixing here. However, the mastering is also going to be done at the studio, which means I don't need as many dynamic plugins as these subscriptions have to offer as well. It's not only the overabundance of plugins that are unnecessary as far as usefulness. The UAD Spark I caught on a deal for Black Friday and still using it after all this time. It's not that much, and actually they offered me half off to continue with them. But then again, as I was reminded by my wife, that's how they got me the first time. It was a good deal. These are great plugins, and no slight to Universal Audio or SSL. I love them. Great brands, but I'm just to the frame of mind now to where if I can't own it outright, then I'm not going to use it at all. These plugins all sound great, but they have little to offer in comparison to what I can offer the final mix. The exception to all this is UVI. We're going to keep Sonic Pass for now just because the production tools are necessary for what we got going on, and it's a vast library of expansive sounds and samples that we could be utilizing for beat building. So we're going to stay on that for the most part, but for now, yeah, we're pretty much done with the subscriptions. That being said, everything now is going to be done the hard way. So yeah, I went to go check out Reaper. It's only $60, so now I own the DAW outright. The unfortunate thing is these plugins don't work in Reaper either. Still having lifetime updates. I pull up FL Studio and lo and behold. Now, does this mean that we're going FL gang here? We already are FL gang. What it really means is we're going to utilize FL Studio when it comes to showcasing some of these plugins that don't otherwise work in other DAWs. Other than that, we're not going to be producing in FL Studio. Got the MPC 3000 over here and other stuff to do the production with, and we already got a lot of our bases covered. What we're going to do here is we're going to go about things the more traditional way, meaning we're going to produce here, take that production to the studio to record, do the mixing here, and then take that mix to the studio for the final master. That said, studio time is not cheap. That's one of the reasons for the back and forth. Otherwise, I'd just mix at the recording studio. So doing it the old-fashioned way is quite costly, but you know what? We're willing to eat that cost for the quality. As of now, we have canceled our StudioOne subscription, we canceled our SSL subscription, and we canceled the UAD Spark. We still have some of these plugins that we do own outright and have options as far as moving forward goes. It just, we're not going to be following any of these subscription models moving forward. We'll keep the Sonic Pass, but as far as everything else goes,
see ya, and I wouldn't want to be here.